I'm Holly Michael, editor and publisher of the Twin Creek Times, and this is our preview for June 24th. And if you're wondering why I am standing here at the school in Germantown that served as the Germantown High School and as the primary school, and then earlier even from that as the Valley View Middle School, it's because this week's feature story is on longtime middle school principal John Wilson. He's a living legend. When I posted on Facebook and asked for memories of him, people flooded in with their great stories and their admiration for Mr. Wilson, and I spent some time with him, interviewing him, and I've got that to share in this week's story. A lot of people may not know that he did not arrive at Valley View Schools to be the middle school principal. He actually arrived before the school consolidation and was a teacher at Farmersville High School. So it's an interesting story, and I hope that you'll check that out for this week. This week is also our 25th issue. In a way that seems like quite a bit, and in another way it seems like we just started doing this yesterday. And we've been doing this since January, and now here we are in our 25th week. It's hard to believe, really. And so the list this week goes through some of the top stories based on the data that from all the people who've clicked on our stories, and it shows which ones have been the top ones. And so I'm going to roll those out. Some will be probably not very surprising as you see the list, and some may be, because I think we've had a lot of interest both in the sort of breaking news about what's going on with our public officials, what's going on with our schools, and then we've also had a lot of interest in some of the stories, kind of like the John Wilson story, where we're looking back at the rich history of this community. So excited to see both of those stories. And speaking of stories about the school and the great interest there, this week we also have learned the identities of the people who have applied for the open Board of Education spot that came into being when Tim Rudd resigned. And as I've mentioned in previous stories, that person those people have submitted applications. The board will be interviewing candidates in the next week or so, and then selecting a person who will serve until the end of 2027. And in November of 2027, that person will need to run if they want to fill the remaining part of Tim Rudd's term, which goes till the end of 2029. So this person will serve for about 18 months. They'll be sworn in at the July board meeting, according to the school's plans that they've released. We have a few sports updates this week. We've got an All-Ohio baseball player to celebrate, and then our Spartan football team is starting to ramp up with some 7-on-7 games and some other plans that I'll share with you as they head into the season this fall, which will be here before we know it. We have a new community calendar linked this week, and instead of me manually finding out about events and manually adding them to a list, I have pulled in with a service called Yodel, a online generated calendar that actually pulls things in from online postings. And I invite you to check that out this week, because it's really a great resource and very comprehensive. There's things that we can do to add events if they're not really being promoted on a website or on Facebook. We can do that. But I think that it's going to be a great resource for the community. I am looking for a sponsor to cover the cost of this calendar, because there is cost from this vendor, and I'm hoping that I'll find a sponsor to help carry that load, and so we can continue to offer this to the community. And finally, the Dayton Cycling Club is bringing the Major Taylor Ride to Farmersville, And it's a ride that starts out by UD Arena and Welcome Stadium. And the long version of the ride brings riders to the Farmersville Fire Station for a break. And Major Taylor was a worldwide known bicyclist in the late 1800s. And he was the first Black international superstar. And while he wasn't from Dayton, there are Major Taylor cycling clubs all over the country. And this ride is in memorial and in recognition of his contribution to that sport. Have a great week.